The man carefully opened the door. The scene before him was terrifying. His wife Michi's head was stuck in a crocodile's mouth. But the man was not nervous at all. Instead, he had a helpless expression. He slowly walked over and patted Michi. No response, so he had to pull her out. Then Michi suddenly came to life. Quickly thanked her husband for saving her. Her husband smiled wryly, looked at the price tag on the dinosaur, glad it was on sale. From the man's reaction, it was obvious this was not the first time his wife pretended to be dead. Last time he came home from work, he saw Michi covered in blood, lying on the floor. Scared, he quickly called for an ambulance. But Michi then faked coming back to life. He was scared half to death, while Michi was happily over the moon. Since then, Michi has been uncontrollable, sometimes embroiled in disputes and brutally killed. Sometimes a battlefield hero, heroically sacrificed. The performance that day was not so direct. The man carefully looked around and found out that his wife was shot in the head by an arrow. A bird was also pierced behind the arrow. Michi said proudly, "Isn't it realistic? This prop was made by me, not sold in the store." The man was speechless. There are more and more props at home. They can't fit, so they have to be thrown away. That day the man just finished throwing away the props. He was seen by the neighbor ant. When she saw this, she was quite scared.
Chicken! Chicken! Ah! Chicken!
違いますよこれは。ちょっと落ちて。
The man was very depressed and complained to his colleague. The colleague advised him, saying your wife is a full-time housewife. Besides washing clothes, cooking, and cleaning the house, she has nothing else to do. So she must be very bored. She uses this alternative interest to attract you. You should care more about her. The man thought it made sense. That night, he began to cooperate with his wife. Today's look is being shot to death by chaotic swords. He only enters the play in a second. Casually looks at the props' prices, he is extremely sad. In the following days, Michi's performance escalates, even designed to be kidnapped by aliens. The man uses all his might to perform until Michi is satisfied. But unexpectedly, the game has upgraded. Michi leaves scripts beside him every day. The man must perform according to the script and lines. Today is the vampire count. Tomorrow is Romeo and Juliet. Finally, the man is exhausted, feeling hollowed out. He doesn't even dare to go home. Colleagues see him looking lifeless and decide to help him. They agree to have dinner together, then introduce their wives to Michi. Now Michi finally has a friend. They should go shopping together, so he wouldn't keep thinking about playing dead. However, things are not as simple as they thought. A friend was made, but playing dead continues. That day the man got off work, asked Michi if she needed to buy something. Michi surprisingly wanted a chainsaw. The man sighed helplessly. It seemed this was going to be a horror show. At the door, heard music from Egypt. The man's heart jumped. Sure enough, Michi was cosplaying an Egyptian pharaoh today. The man could no longer stand it and gave Michi a job advertisement. If you really have nothing to do, you might as well get a job. Michi followed her husband's suggestion. Went to the laundry to find a part-time job. But do you think having a job can stop her from playing dead? It did not. The man came home from work and saw Michi was strangled. Michi said it was her inspiration from going to work. She imagined the laundry was robbed. She was strangled by the robber. This time the man finally told Michi the truth. He said he was tired of Michi's daily act of playing dead. Hearing this, Michi was silent for a long time. That night, in a half-asleep state, Michi said, "Honey, the night view is really nice." The man looked confused. What a strange dream talk. The next day at work, the man told his colleagues about Michi's sleep talk. Colleagues said, "Maybe your wife is hinting that life is not romantic enough. No surprises. You buy her a bouquet of flowers, she will definitely be very happy." The man did as told. However, things always progress unexpectedly. As soon as he opened the door, a tombstone appeared before him. Then Michi slowly came out from behind. She said, "I'm not playing dead. I'm a ghost now." The man was at a loss whether to cry or laugh, and planted the flowers at the grave. It actually fit the occasion quite well. Then Michi cosplayed Ultraman and a kitten. She ended up with glass balls all over her, pretending she came back from the year 2050. Faced with Michi's various antics, he even wanted to say, "Sorry, I took the wrong door." And this time, the wife played her role from 30 years later. He asked Michi, "What do you really want to do? Is there anything you can say directly?" But Michi said nothing. Instead, she got up to take a calculator and started calculating nearby. The man looked puzzled and asked her what she was calculating. Michi said, "Calculating how much time we can still be together. If we can live to 80 years old, then there is still 41 years left. That's 14,965 days, a total of 359,160 hours. Hearing this number, the man said, "There is still a lot of time." But what Michi cared about was that time was getting less and less. The man asked Michi how she really felt about him. Michi didn't answer. Instead, she walked to the window, opened the curtain, and said, "The moonlight tonight is really beautiful." That day, the man finally had a day off. Michi didn't cause trouble, but received a call from the hospital. Michi's father was seriously ill and was undergoing emergency treatment. The two hurried back to Michi's hometown. Arriving at the hospital, they glanced at her father on the sickbed. Michi ran to the hallway and cried bitterly. Dad heard straight anxious, a last cry early, "I'm not dead yet." Then Michi went to pay the hospital fee. Her husband stayed to accompany Dad. It was just at this time, Dad revealed the truth that Michi liked to play. It turned out that when Michi was 5, Mom passed away. Dad had to run the restaurant by himself and take care of Michi. He was very tired and felt the whole world was dark. Understanding Michi, saw Dad always cried alone, so she started to play hide and seek with Dad. At first, Dad blamed her for adding trouble and danger, but slowly he found life became very interesting. Those hard days were thus endured. At this time, the man finally understood. Michi had always pretended to be dead, just simply wanting to please him and make him happy. At night, the two stayed at the old house. There was a book on the bed. The man casually flipped it open. Here he saw the true meaning of "the moonlight is beautiful." That is Natsume Soseki's romantic translation of "I love you." At this moment, he finally understood. Michi always said this, was to express love to him. It turned out Michi was the man's second wife. His first wife inexplicably divorced him after 3 years of marriage. So the man had shadows in his heart, lacked a sense of security about marriage. Thus, when marrying Michi, they agreed that when their 3rd anniversary came, they would reconsider whether to continue their marriage. As the 3rd anniversary approached, Michi pretended to be dead and let her husband become a lifesaver to express her affirmation of their marriage. Finally, they arrived at the place where they once dated. At this moment, they confirmed that each was the one they wanted to accompany for life. On a day after their 3rd wedding anniversary, Michi returned home, found her husband lying on the floor unconscious. Is the story quite absurd? But it is a story that really happened in Japan. Marriage always changes from initial romance to plain as boiled water. But as long as you are willing, you can still decorate it with colorful hues. Thank you for watching.